With Season 2 being here, we also got our first agent buff in the game, and for everyone returning to the game after quitting in 1.0, no judgment here, this means your Ellen had an insane glow up with some really cool changes to her kit, and with that it is time for an updated guide on Ellen, because I'ma be real, she does not even feel remotely like the same character anymore. So let's talk about her kit and how she plays, her best weapons, disk drives and disk drive sets, her combos, her main and substats, her teams and Mindscapes, and lastly, let's also talk about her pros and cons. Welcome! I am Rivenous and this is your complete, updated, in-depth guide to Ellen Joe. Ellen is an ice-type attack agent, and actually, we will structure this video a little bit differently. For players who already know what she did before, we will start off with a summary of what actually changed for her. For everyone else, we will go into a full kit overview right after that. Timestamps to that are on the timeline and in the description below, so skip around as you see fit for yourself. I don't really want to repeat a kit to you which you are already familiar with. Lastly, to also get this question out of the way, because I know that it is on your mind, she is about 40 to 50% stronger than before. Also, as a quick side note, the Ellen changes are actually a toggle and you can always switch between her old and her new kit in this menu right here. With that out of the way, like, share and subscribe, and let's begin. First up, Ellen has had her additional core adjusted and now also works with any stunner in the team. This allows her to now be played with lighter without missing out on her additional core, and hence also allows for new team options as we aren't forced to run Rina or Sukaku in this team setup anymore. Secondly, her core has been touched upon as well, and while she only gained 100% crit damage on her dash attack and basics before this change, this crit damage buff now also applies to her chain attacks, ultimate, and both of her two new basic attacks. While charging her scissor, Ellen is now invulnerable, and if she is attacked while charging, this damage is now nullified and instantly completes the charge. As far as her kit goes, she lastly also gained two new basic attacks. Basic attack Icy Blade you might already know from her Holo Zero enhancements, and after the third hit of her basic attack, second EX special, dodge counter or assist follow-up, she will now automatically cast said Icy Blade, which will also deal additional instances of damage against medium or large enemies, grants her the quick charge effect, and she is invulnerable during the skill. Furthermore, this skill will not interrupt the combo sequence of the previous skill, and to give an example, if you cast this after her EX special Shark Nami, you can still follow up with her basic 3. This is important because this skill is essentially forced upon you with a costly way to play around it, but more on that during the combo section. For her second new skill, after casting her basic attack 3, dash attack, dodge counter or quick assist, we can now press her basic attack to spend 2 flash freeze charges to cast Glacial Blade Wave, which can be directly followed up by her basic 3. Glacial Blade Wave deals up to 2 instances of damage and also consumes up to 2 flash freeze charges. And that already covers all of her changes, which also means goodbye to everyone who was here for the changes. See you over in the weapon section. For everybody else, welcome back. Let's cover her kit. Ellen's kit is based around her unique resource flash freeze charges, which are indicated in the top left corner right below her HP bar, and she can hold a maximum of 6. So, how do we acquire flash freeze charges? Well, holding or double pressing the dodge button will have her enter the roaming state, and during this roaming state she gains access to 2 versions of dash attack Arctic Ambush. Simply pressing her basic attack will have her attack with her scissors and will grant her 1 flash freeze charge, but holding the basic attack button pressed will charge up the attack and grant her 3 flash freeze charges instead. If Ellen triggers a perfect dodge or when switched in via a quick assist, she gains the quick charge effect for 5 seconds, which massively reduces the charging time required for the charged scissor attack. Furthermore, Ellen is also invulnerable while charging her scissor, and if she is attacked during the charge, the damage is nullified and said charge will instantly complete. Because of these two mechanics, we nearly always want to fully charge her scissor, and there's rarely any reason not to do it. Holding her dodge during a dodge counter, while also inputting any movement or moving into any direction during a quick assist, will have her enter the roaming state as well, and this is preferable over actually using her quick assist or dodge counter, because they are, quite frankly, not very good. But more on that later during the combo section. Lastly, she can also gain charges from her EX specials. We will talk about her EX specials just a bit later on, but first let's answer, what do we actually need these flash freeze charges for? So, when Ellen possesses any flash freeze charges, her basic and dash attacks are enhanced, and she also gains access to a new basic attack called Glacial Blade Wave. We don't really want to use her enhanced dash attacks, but her enhanced basic attacks, and they now deal ice damage instead of physical, as well as having much higher multipliers. We can also extend the duration of her basic attack 3 by holding the basic attack button pressed. As a side note, her basic 3 also has relatively good grouping for smaller and closer enemies. So let's talk about her two new basic attacks, and let's begin with Glacial Blade Wave because we just mentioned it. Glacial Blade Wave deals up to 2 instances of damage and also consumes up to 2 flash freeze charges. Ellen can use Glacial Blade Wave after the third hit of her enhanced basic attack, dash attack, dodge counter or quick assist by simply pressing basic attack, and she is also invulnerable during this skill. Then she can directly follow up with her basic 3. For her second new basic attack after the third hit of her basic attack, second EX special, more on that in just a bit, dodge counter or assist follow up, she will automatically cast Icy Blade, which inflicts damage based on how strong the enemy is. Less damage versus normal and smaller enemies and more damage versus bigger enemies. She is invulnerable during the skill as well and also gains the quick charge effect after using it. The skill also does not interrupt the attack string of the previous attack, but we talk more about that during the combo section. Let's skip her dodge counter, assist follow-up, chain attack and ultimate because they either all do what they are supposed to do, or especially in the case of dodge counter, we will not actually try to use it. Lastly, Ellen also has 2 EX specials, Tail Swipe and Sharknami. Both of them deal a good amount of damage, with Sharknami being just a little bit stronger and also having much larger AoE. Both skills will also grant her 1 point of flash freeze charge and can be directly followed up by her basic 3, and she is yet again invulnerable during the skill. Sharknami, however, can by default only be cast directly following her EX special Tail Swipe. This changes with Mindscapes, but more on that later. Knowing her kit, let's summarize it to have a better understanding on how we actually play her. We accumulate flash freeze charges by either using her EX specials or her charge dash attack. To get to the charge dash attack, we hold dodge pressed while also inputting any movement after her dodge counter or simply move during the quick assist. When we have at least 3 flash freeze charges after her enhanced dash attack, we press the basic attack button to cast her Glacial Blade Wave, which we then follow up with her basic 3 and Icy Blade, which is used automatically right after. We will dive a bit deeper into this during the combo section in just a bit. Lastly, to finish her kit, let's have a look at her skill priority. Most of her damage comes from her basic attacks, followed by her ultimate, chain and EX specials, so our skill priority is core skill and basics into chain and EX special into dodge and assist. And with that out of the way, let's finally talk about her combos. Welcome back for everybody who skipped somewhere, it doesn't really matter where, but let's talk about her combos. As we have just mentioned shortly before, at least for the people who did not skip the kit overview, her most simple out of stun damage combo is her charge dash attack into Glacial Blade Wave into basic 3 and Icy Blade. We also want to make sure to swap cancel her Icy Blade, at least optimally, as the animation is quite long. We can also just slightly expand upon this, because triggering a perfect dodge or using her quick assist will grant her quick charge, and holding her dodge button pressed during a dodge while also inputting any movement or simply moving during the quick assist will have Ellen transition directly into her roaming state, skipping her dodge counter or quick assist completely. This leaves the expanded combo at perfect dodge or quick assist into roaming state into charge dash attack, followed by her glacial blade wave into basic 3 and icy blade. Unfortunately, Ellen is not actually invulnerable during her basic 3 as well, so if you are about to be attacked during this time, we are better off interrupting the combo with a dodge counter and then restart it from the beginning. In theory, however, we could loop this forever. But if we were to do that, we would also accumulate a lot of energy, which we would simply waste by not using it. So let's talk about how we can integrate her EX special into her out of stun combo. If we find ourselves with too much energy, we will still begin with a perfect dodge or quick assist into the roaming state and charge dash attack, still following by her glacial blade wave into basic 3. We now, however, want to use our EX special to cancel the icy blade and override it with her first EX special, which we can then simply follow up with another basic 3 and finish the combo using her icy blade just as before. Regardless of which combo you use, swap cancelling the icy blade at the end is always preferable, as again the animation is quite long for only a medium damage gain. These are her main combos outside of stun, so let's now head into the stun window, and her optimal combo also requires manual chain. Optimally, we would want 80 energy and 1 to 4 flash freeze charges heading into the stun window. We trigger the chain using any ally not named Ellen, then use Ellen's chain attack. Cancel the chain into both of her EX specials and swap cancel the following icy blade. Then we re-trigger the chain with another ally, use her chain yet again and cast her ultimate. Lastly, we will fill the rest of the stun window using her enhanced basic 1, 2 and 3. If you started the chain with 4 flash freeze charges, and especially when using Lighter in the team, we can extend this combo by her glacial blade wave into another basic 3 into icy blade. If you are not a manual chain user, however, we want to start the stun window with at least 3 flash freeze charges. Trigger the chain with any ally just as before and use her chain attack. Then we proceed with her enhanced basic 1, 2 and 3 and swap cancel the icy blade. Re-trigger the chain with an ally into her chain yet again, then use her ultimate. Now we can use both of her EX specials and finish with her icy blade. This combo is also preferable if you are shorter on energy but have more flash freeze charges. And that honestly already covers all the combos you need to know about her, which means let's talk about her weapons. Ellen's signature is still her best in slot, mainly due to the insane amount of crit rate it provides, as 44% is honestly absolutely disgusting. Her signature did, however, get significant competition, mainly with Myriad Eclipse, Heartstring Nocturne and now also Brimstone. Myriad becomes better or worse depending on how well you can maintain its uptime during significant burst windows. Heartstring Nocturne is just a very good stat stick, and due to her core providing now a massive 100% crit damage, even Brimstone became pretty competitive as well. Her core also allows for a pretty high crit damage by default, which allows her to run crit rate in slot 4 on non-signature weapons to reach a nearly 100% crit rate, as well as focusing on attack percent and partially also crit damage substats. Riot Suppressor, Severed Innocence and Zanshin are all her next best choices, and honestly she has an extensive lineup of weapons to select from, so I wouldn't want to sweat too much about it. If you don't run her signature weapon, going for crit rate in slot 4 is the best choice, as we can reach 100% crit rate now without sacrificing too much crit damage on her due to her adjusted core skill. If you are running her signature, however, either crit damage or attack percent in slot 4, pen ratio in slot 5 and attack percent in slot 6 are one of her best options. Ice damage and attack percent in slot 5 work as well, however. And speaking of substats already, focus on crit rate first and foremost until you hit close to 100%, then crit damage and attack percent, and lastly flat pen and flat attack. If you don't have her signature weapons, hitting 100% crit rate is not necessarily realistic unless you are running Unfettered Game Ball on either Sokaku or an Astra against an enemy that is Ether or Ice Weak respectively. If you don't, however, you can aim for 80 to 90% crit rate. As for her disc drive sets, a 4-piece Woodpecker wins out by quite a bit over a 4-piece Polar Metal. As for the 2-piece, Puffer Electro, Astral Voice, Branch and Blade or Polar Metal will do their job just fine, and with a difference of 1 to 3% between them, that is about as much as one substat roll. Which also means unless you are running Rena, which is when Puffer Electro will become better, choose whatever has better substats. Let's also quickly cover her Mindscapes. Redoing this video showed me how bad her Mindscapes actually have been in the past, and frankly it did not really get much better. Her Mindscape 1 allows her to obtain 6 charges now instead of 3, but because we are frequently dodging and using her dash attack regardless, this changes most of the time nothing. It also gives her up to 12% crit rate, which is something we can actually use and makes building her, well, to be fair, she already did had a lot of crit rate with her signature, but it is great with non-crit rate weapons however. Her M2 grants her up to 60% crit damage on her EX special attacks based on the current amount of flash freeze charges she has when using it. It also allows her to directly follow up her enhanced basic 3 with her EX special Shark Nami, which overall just results in a small damage gain. It is also better in AoE, well, because Shark Nami just has a larger AoE. Her M3 and M5 exist and are, in comparison to her other Mindscapes, not even that bad. Her M4 is more of a quality of life and ensures we can always do her full stun rotation without having to worry about saving flash freeze charges. Her M6 increases the damage of her dash attacks by 250%, but because they don't deal that much damage in comparison, this kinda actually does not matter too much. She also gains 20% pen ratio however, and we can expect a nearly permanent uptime on this, which makes this Mindscape at least somewhat tolerable. Let's also quickly cover her new teams before we finish the video with her pros and cons. With Ellen now being able to run any stunner without losing out on her additional core, we have a few new team options, and her new best team would be with Lighter and Astra. Lycaon is still great however and pairs well with any support, but now also enables double stun compositions. I don't necessarily think double stun is as great as other options, but it can work well and it is certainly not bad. With Trigger, we have access to a new off-field stunner as well, and for the free-to-play players out here, both Colada and Pulchra can do their job, even if the team itself performs just slightly worse than other premium options such as Lycaon or Lighter. Ellen received an enormous buff with her adjustments and is not only much more fun to play now, but also feels much less frustrating with her charged attacks. She gained a solid amount of damage from her changes and feels much more similar and hence flashy to recently released characters. She now also has access to more teams, which helps her team building a lot. Due to the huge amount of attack weapons released within the last year, she also has a solid amount of weapons to choose from, some of them coming pretty close to her signature and one of them being a standard S-rank weapon. With Ice being a frequent weakness in both Geo Defense as well as Deadly Assault, and Lycaon, another standard S-rank, being a great partner for her, she has a solid base for performing well in various endgame modes. She also gained a lot of iframes with her rework, so outside of her enhanced basic attacks, she kinda feels invulnerable all the time, which is a good thing. And with that, we are at the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, comment on why Ellen is your favorite waifu, and let us know what your thoughts are on the rework. Also a massive thanks to my Patreon supporters. I appreciate all of you and wish you a great day. Peace.